There is a dish that in many homes means Holy Week has arrived. A humble dish but full of history. A stew of chickpeas, spinach, and cod that for centuries was prepared on days when meat could not be eaten. Today we're going to prepare a traditional potaje de vigilia. And I'm also going to show you a very simple trick to make it much creamier. Potaje de vigilia is one of the most typical Spanish dishes during Lent, when the Catholic tradition forbade eating meat on Fridays. That's why it was made with simple ingredients like chickpeas, spinach, and cod. And even though it seems like a humble dish, when it's well made, it's absolutely spectacular. In many homes, this dish was cooked for hours. And when you were a child, something very curious would happen. At first, you didn't want to eat it, but as you grew up, you realized it's amazing. Let's see what we need. And we're going to use 400 grams of cooked chickpeas, 1 onion, several cloves of garlic, and 300 grams of spinach. We'll use cod to taste, about 200 or 300 grams, a tablespoon of paprika, and a liter of vegetable broth. If you want to see it clearly, pause the video and I'll leave it here in writing for you. And the first thing we need to prepare is an onion. My trick for this kind of stew is always the same. Chop the onion very well so that it practically dissolves, giving flavor and texture. To do this, we make some slices and then chop those slices all at once. This way, we make a bunch of small cubes with very little effort. What do you think? Simple ingredients, but the secret is in the sofrito. We're also going to use 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and I recommend chopping them using the same technique. Garlic strips that you then cut up. That way you save time and effort. Place a really large pot and pour in a good splash of an oil you like. Add the chopped onion and the garlic, both straight in. Today, we're not adding them one at a time. You give it a few stirs and let it cook little by little. This step is very important because this is where the flavor of the stew begins. Remember to stir it from time to time and take advantage of those 5 minutes we spend sautéing to wash the chickpeas if you're using canned ones. Although you can also cook them yourself, simply by boiling them, always soaking them the day before. Remember, if they're canned, wash them well before using them. Hey, does your faucet have that pull-out thing so you can aim it? Honestly, it's amazing. We add 3 or 4 tablespoons of crushed tomato. That would be enough, but I use a whole small can, about 400 milliliters. And that's because I like to pack in as much flavor as possible. Now the base of the stew is starting to form. We'll cook it until it's a little creamy. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. And then plenty of paprika and a couple of bay leaves. As I always tell you, you can use hot paprika or sweet paprika. Or you can also mix both, like I do. Then you give it a few stirs and let it cook for another 3 minutes. Paprika gives it that distinctive flavor. When you see that it's a bit thick, add a liter of vegetable broth. It can be homemade or store-bought, since nowadays there are some pretty good ones available. Make sure to use all of it, down to the last drop. Everything here adds to the flavor. Once you have it, give it a little stir and let it sit for 2 minutes to heat up. Perfect time to prepare your cod. I already have it skinless, and what I do is cut it into cubes. Since I also bought it salted, I'm not going to add any salt to the stew. Just the salt from the fish will be enough. But make sure to cut it into even cubes so it mixes well throughout the stew. And once it's warm, add the cooked chickpeas. Mix everything very well so the flavors combine with the sautéed base. And when everything is boiling, give it one last stir. And then you add the final magic. First up, we had just finished chopping the cod. And now 300 grams of spinach leaves, which I already buy washed and everything. You put them inside and cover it after pressing down a little so they fit well in the pot. And now we let everything cook for a few minutes so the flavors blend together. And don't worry, the cod cooks in just a few minutes and the spinach will lose almost all its volume, so it fits perfectly. And here's the trick. Take a ladle full of chickpeas and mash them with a fork until they form a puree. And back in again. This will make the sauce thicker. Wait, I'm gonna cover it. This thickens the stew naturally and makes it much better. We cook for a few minutes until the spinach is soft and the chickpeas are flavorful. And that's it. You can take it off the heat now. It's ready to enjoy. Look at the texture, pure traditional flavor. And here you have the classic Lenten stew, a humble dish but full of history. Get your plate and spoon ready. The family's already eager to enjoy it. And now tell me in the comments if you prefer soups and stews or sweets during Holy Week. This time of year is full of traditional, delicious, and affordable recipes. And if you like the recipe and the video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe to keep enjoying delicious things.